I'm gonna talk about the relay concepts. So let's see. Sibelius, nice to meet you. And this is my handler on Twitter on GitHub. I'm gonna start like the relay concepts with this image, like from the new Facebook redesign. So we have like the newsfeed here, like the stories, the post draft stuff, and single post. And then to understand all these relay concepts, I'm gonna pass like from the relay compiler, the relay environment, the natural layer, the store. I'm gonna show like how can you use like use preload query, use fragment, use refetchable fragment, like using mutation, use pagination, using subscription in the module derivative, and then how can you like try to rebuild the new Facebook by yourself. So the relay compiler, we're gonna get like all your GraphQL fragments and operations and compile them like in a very optimized way. So you don't need to care like if you're querying like the same field twice or something like this. Relay compiler will make sure like you have the best DX without like compromise the performance. So that's what I talk here. So you can have like arguments in your fragments. That's good for DX and so on. And relay compiler, you're gonna generate like the type. So if you define like a post, you're gonna get like the type of it. You're also gonna have like a very optimized GraphQL AST. So you're gonna send like only performant queries to the server. Here's the full query that relay compiler generate for us. So let's go to the relay environments. That's gonna have like all the configurations we have. So relay needs like an environment that's gonna tell how relay store the data and how relay is gonna affect like all the graphical operations, the queries, the mutation, the subscriptions. So the relay environment, as you can see, like you have like a network layer here, and then you have a store configuration that is gonna tell like it's gonna be on memory, it's gonna be offline, it's gonna be the way you want. You're gonna off are you gonna use a database and like this? You're gonna handle like the garbage collector. So the relay store gonna tell like relay how to cache the data and how to configure like the garbage collector. So the relay store is a normalized data. So everything like in your graphical response needs to have like a global ID so you can normalize the data and find all the data like in a very optimized way. The network layer is gonna tell relay how to fed like graphical operations and how to handle subscriptions. So the network layers is responsible to handle authentications, to retry fats, to handle timeouts, to handle, you can like do caches in the query level, and then you can resolve many values like if you're using the Pharaoh string using observable. So this is a very simple implementation. It's gonna use like the fetch. So you're gonna reach your GraphQL server with the GraphQL operation query and the variables, and then you're gonna resolve the response there. So this is the setup for the subscriptions. So you're gonna probably use like WebSocket or something like this, and then the WebSocket is gonna provide like many events to your observable here. So after that, let's see how can you build like this interface. So the first thing we have is like the user preload query. It's is a relay hook in the relay experimental package that's gonna like preload all the data you need. So before you're reaching our this code, before you're getting like all the code for this data for this interface, you're gonna fetch the data at the same time you do like the code fetching. So it's really simple like this. You just tell like a GraphQL query and it's gonna like preload the query for you. So let's talk about like data-driven components. So each one of these components is gonna declare like which data they need. So let's see like the benefits of it. So its components declare its data. You declare like data in the declarative way. You don't need to tell like when relay should fetch the data, relay fetch for you. So it's a data fetch that scales that you can refactor. That's very easily to refactor. So to have like these data-driven components, you use like use fragments. So each component have a one user fragment on main of it. It doesn't like fetch the data directly, just declare the data they need. So if you have like a user avatar, you're gonna just declare that you need like the ID in the name, and then relay compiler is gonna process all these fragments and generate like a final query for you. So let's see more. So if you're doing like the feed list, you have a list of posts here, and then to get like more posts at the end or get like new posts, you're gonna use like use pagination fragment. So anytime you do kind of getting like more data from your server, you need to like to do some kind of refetch query or pagination query, and relay is gonna generate this pagination query for you. So you can paginate backwards and forwards. So that's great. So this is an example of the use pagination fragment to use it. So it's gonna return the data. You're gonna return like the load next callback and the load previous callback. As you can see, you have no loading here because everything like is suspense based. So if you don't have the data, the React is will suspend first, and then you get the data here. So you don't need to care about like error handling, as error boundary is gonna catch it, and you don't need to worry about loading stuff. So that's great. So the refetchable fragment, we're gonna out-generate like the refetch query for you. So if you need like to do some kind of fetch data that's different from pagination, you're gonna use this kind of more generic way of fetching data. So they use it something like this. You return like a refetch callback that you can change like the variables of your fragment here, and then it's gonna refetch the data based on new variables. So let's see again. So we have a use mutation. So when you write like a new post on Facebook, they're probably gonna do a use mutation. This is gonna send the new post to the server, and then after the mutation is execute, is gonna update the UI locally for you. So use mutation is gonna prevent like you send the same mutation twice. So if you user like keep clicking on the send posts, you won't have like two posts in your application. You also have like optimistic updates. So you can like show the post before like the server says like the post was saved successfully. So you can use this for post comments, something like this. So you can like provide very fast feedback to the user before like server answers that. So it will also cancel the mutation when the components amount. So if your components amount for some unexpected reason, it's gonna just cancel the mutation as it doesn't make sense anymore. So this is a very simple example. The just kind of simple. So user mutation is gonna return like the post create callback that is gonna call like when you want to execute the mutation, and also this is pendant, so you can show like a loading state to the user, like if the mutation takes a lot of time. Use subscription. So the use subscription hook let you like observe the events. So when another user like create a new post, you want to be notified about it. So you can update the store in real time. So let's see a very simple subscriptions here. So the subscriptions tell me that's when there's a new post, I want to be notified with all this data, and then relay is gonna update the store for me in the real time. So that's great. So relay has a very powerful feature of relay is data-driven dependency that they call like 3D fields. 3D fields are matching module derivatives that's gonna let like GraphQL decide which kind of components to load. So here, Facebook has many types of posts. So you have posts with only text, posts with images, you have posts with videos. So each one of these are different components that you just wanna load if you need use them. So let's see a very simple query. So imagine you have like a post here, and then you have a post that has only photos, and then a post that has only videos. So GraphQL is gonna tell like you need to preload the photo component or you need to preload the video component. So this is very, very great. So it's kind of code split in in GraphQL. So this is very powerful. Like if you're building something that has very many types of variations, this is really good. Let me check. So that's it. That's all the relay concepts. It was kind of fast, but I think like you can understand more if you really like the relay DOS and something like this. And tomorrow we're gonna have like a relay workshop, like covering all the concepts and all the real implementations. And then at the end of the workshop, you're gonna be like a mini social network that I can show here. Check. So you're probably gonna build something like this. It's a very simple Facebook. You can create a new one. I'm live. Let's see. Okay, and then I can click, I can route something like this. Okay, I think that's it. There's a lot of reference here. And then you can give feedback for me on this QR code about my talk, what you like, what you don't. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Sibelius. That was amazing. I'm looking forward to the workshop tomorrow. If you want to participate in the workshop, you can get your ticket and we'll see you there.